Hi, and welcome to the BookishStitcher Podcast. My name is Jeanette. I am your host. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as BookishStitcher. We also have a group on Ravelry under the title of BookishStitcher Podcast. Right now we have 2 knit-alongs going in there. One called The Season of Giving, and it can be anything that you give to a person or that you give to a charity, anything you knit, and there's an FO thread for that, so you can post your finished object so that you can be entered for a chance to win either this beautiful yarn, Fiber Knit Dye Works Bedazzled in the Here Fishy Fishy, or another prize we have for this knit along is this Cuppy Cake yarns in the Black Sand Beaches colorway. So those are the 2 prizes for that knit along. We also have going in a group right now a blanket knit along, and that's going to run through all of February. And there's just a chatter thread for that because I know a lot of us are working on long-term blankets like me. And so every month, at the end of the month, the last time I podcast for that month, I will be drawing for a winner from the chatter thread, and they will win a little set of mini skeins. So this month's mini skeins are from Mermaid Knitting. Okay, right there. And it's the Fa La 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 La, or Fa La La colorway. And they're really pretty and really festive since you'll be knitting them probably in December. There it is. And there's also a pattern if you'd like to do that instead of adding them to your blanket for some little ornaments. So I also have, that's all for the knit-alongs. So go over and join the group. We also have a thing going on right now for a skein of Chasing Acorns yarn. I'll be drawing for that next Sunday. So I think that's everything I have. My cat's trying to eat my project bag, so I'm a little bit distracted. But I hope you guys are having a good weekend. We had a really great one. I got to do some Christmas shopping yesterday. I do not like the crowds that get at the malls and different places, the toy stores, towards the end of December, mid in December. It's just too much for me. And it's weird too because people are Christmas shopping, right? And people should be excited and happy thinking about the gift they're giving their loved one. But a lot of people are really grumpy and upset, and I always have the urge to be like, hey, be happy, to try to spread some holiday cheer, but not a lot of people just get grumpy. So I don't even like to be out there in that kind of environment. So I did a lot of shopping, finished off my daughter. She's getting the little, I don't know if you've heard of them, Calico Critter set. It's a house and little bunnies and different stuff like that. And we're all combining with all the family going in and getting her the full set. And then Saturday I went to the gym for 2 hours. It's been way too long since I've gone, and I had to put down the knitting needles and get myself there because it's getting real. I need to get more exercise in and less sitting knitting time. So that's where I'm going to be. There's going to be a lot less knitting probably while I get myself to the gym. And in fact, I'm going to go there after I record today. And then today we went and got stuff for our Thanksgiving dinner. Like I said, we're vegetarian, so it's very different for us. Let me take a drink before It's very different for us. We don't eat meat. And we have in the past gone to families, gathered all around, but I feel really bad asking somebody else to cook vegetarian because people that aren't vegetarians don't realize how much meat there is in everything, like chicken broth. People will just be like, oh, it's vegetarian, but it has chicken broth, so it's not. So we do it occasionally, but most of the time we don't. So what we do, our Thanksgiving tradition, is we go to Meals on Wheels. My husband and I have a long standing with Meals on Wheels where we go a couple times a month and deliver meals. It's just, something that we like to do to help out, and we really enjoy that. So every Thanksgiving morning, we go and we spend Thanksgiving morning. We pick up our meals. It's actually run really efficiently for as big of a thing as it is. So many people are out there on their Thanksgiving morning setting up meals and stuff, and there's just so many wonderful volunteers. If you can hear my cat playing, he's kind of going crazy. So many people are out there. We grab our meal and then we go and deliver it, and that's just something that we really like to do, and I like the kids to get to see that we're doing that, kind of instill that in them, that giving and giving back to people that are less fortunate than you. And then we come home and we have our Thanksgiving. Cats banging into walls. Then we have our Thanksgiving meal, and then after that, typically, we go and hang out with family members. Like, we'll drive up somewhere and hang out with family members the next day. So that's all that. Oh, and I posted on Instagram while we were getting our Thanksgiving groceries, we saw, my husband found it, a $400 black mushroom truffle. It was like a little truffle, and it's $400. Think of all the yarn money that is. Like, all the yarn you could buy for that $400 for a truffle. It was just amazing to me. I was like, there's going to be a black market for this. We can grow those truffles in our backyard and make some money, sell them for half price. Anyway, so that's my weekend so far. Now I'll get to my finished objects. I'm wearing one. This is the split back snowflake hat by Susan B. Anderson. The cables. There's the Fair Isle. It's a little bit long. So you can't, it kind of hangs out on the back of my head. It has a pom-pom. Hope that's showing. But I like it. It's really cute, and I like the little braids. So and I made the split back version so it could cover more of my ears. And that was finished early this week. I couldn't stop knitting on the Fair Isle. I just wanted to keep going and going. And it's out of January yarns in the Oceanography colorway and the 300 Days of Sunshine. Next up was a Christmas gift that I finished. This was a pattern that was gifted to me so sweetly. This is actually the second time ever that I've been gifted a pattern. When I was pregnant with my daughter, we had some really scary times, and it was really hard for me. And I was on Plurk at the time. I'm not on Plurk anymore, but I had posted to Plurk kind of what was going on, and somebody so kindly went and found me on Ravelry and gifted me a pattern. And that was kind of one of the sweetest things that ever happened to me. This stranger that I didn't even know, that I just kind of conversed with on Plurk, gifted me a pattern when I was having a really bad day. But this was a pattern that was gifted to me, my second ever gifted pattern, and it was by Din, I think it would be Din Mama, D-E-N-M-O-M-A, and she's a pattern designer, and she designed this, and I actually met her for a little bit, got to talk to a tiny bit at Knit in the Mitten. I know I still need to weave in the ends. But this is her pattern called Lake Effect Mitts, and it also comes with a hat pattern. I just did the mitts for a Christmas present. But if you're looking for a really quick knit, this you can do. I did it in a night, but you could definitely do it in under a week. And there's a hat that goes with it, and it's just $3 for a hat and mitt pattern. And it's really, really pretty. You can see that they kind of have, it's not cables, but it's different pattern that makes it go like that. So I think my friend will really like that. So that means I'm done with over half of my Christmas knitting. Yay! I'm really feeling like I just want to push through and get all the Christmas knitting done so that I don't have to mess with it anymore. And that yarn was some scraps from Alicia Goes Around. Next one, in the tradition of for the next couple weeks, you will be seeing a new monster every week. Say hello to Gabby. Gabby has a mouth. I'm not the best at monsters. Her mouth is kind of crooked. But Gabby is a pattern by Rebecca Danger out of the Big Book of Knitted Monsters. I will remember this time. The yarn is just some Knit Picks Brava. Just toes, arms, and she's very cute. And this is going off to a little girl for Christmas, so hopefully she will love that. And that's all my completed objects this week, my finished objects. Let me get into my works in progress. This is in my Girl Cave Bags bag, Rista 13. It makes me smile every time I think of it because I think of getting to sit and talk to her at Knit in the Mitten. So I have one finished object, a sock. And you're going to hear that clinking because it's my cat. And I guess I could get up and get the bead, but then no. So, and then I started the second one. These are just some plain vanilla socks. That's what the skein looks like. It is Knit Picks Felici in the Marsh colorway, and these are my last pair of full socks for a mom friend. I think I've done 6 or 7 pairs, and then next is coming the slippers, because all the guys and a couple of the girls are getting felted slippers, which should go pretty fast because they're, done on big needles and such. Next thing I started is a hat for my mom. And this is also out of Alicia Goes Around, and then some scraps of Malabrigo Rios. And this is a hat, it was featured in Knitty Winter, I'm looking up the facts on this for you guys. Knitty Winter 2011, and it's called the Escargot Hat by Veronica Parsons. And it's really, really cool how it's done. See that? That's a flower. It's going to be a flower. It's like a cloche. And my mom kind of helped pick this out. It's rolling the brim, but I'll get that all blocked out and stuff. But it's really cool how this is done because it's just done with different shaping methods. And I like it so much that I'm going to knit one for myself. I need to go buy a skein of gray yarn, but I have a green that I'm going to use for the trim. So that's going to be something I'm going to make for myself for one of those. And that should go by really fast because I've already done the complicated part with the hat shaping, and now I'm just knitting to the required amount of inches before I do the decrease. So that's almost done. Now the stuff for me this week didn't actually see much love. Oh, and that was a Fat Squirrel fiber bag. This is a Fat Squirrel fiber bag, and you've seen these bags before. So I have my Color Affection shawl by Vera Valimaki, and it's out of 3 colors, which are another crafty girl, I guess the best way to another crafty girl, that purple hiding under there is Wandering Wool, and then 2 if by hand, you're not going to be able to see it, but you can see it in the shawl because I did some more on it. So I believe I did a few more pattern repeats, and the thing with this is right now, see, that's how much. So I did about double. I did about double what I had done previously. The thing about this right now is that the rows are just getting longer and longer and longer, and so they're taking longer and longer, and so there's just not that much getting done on it, and I might not even bring this out again till maybe I finish the little section I'm on, the 3rd section, because it's just going to get more and more unmanageable with all the colors and tangling. So I think that's what I'll do. When I finish that section, I will bring it out again for you guys to see, but just know that I'm continually working on that. The next thing that I was working on in my Casey Pockets to Go bag, which these are awesome. If you guys want a big bag for your blankets, if you're working on one, or a sweater, this bag is under $30. This whole huge thing. And so in here, I have a Heidi Kiermaier sweater that I'm working on, the Simple Tweed Summer V-neck. I think that's it. It's a very long name. But it's a free pattern on Ravelry. And I've almost used up the first ball. It's very tiny. And really all I got to do for this week was like an inch. And I separated the sleeves from the body. The sleeves are bunched up on a little thing. My arms are not that small. I actually, in taking a tip from her other sweater that I made, the Snowbird, I did the body in a medium because I have really narrow shoulders, and I did the arms in a large because I have bigger arms. And so those are all my works in progress, you guys. Now, like I said, I've been doing spinning, not as much this week, but I've been doing spinning, but I'm not going to show that every time until I've gotten more done than the tiny little bit I got this week. So I wanted to show you guys my enabling. Actually, let's do the enabling and then we'll do the drawing. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but somebody will remind me of it and I will post it in the thread for this episode. That's where all the show notes can be found. So enabling. I posted on the Chatter with Friends board in our Ravelry group saying that I had gotten my box of stuff that wouldn't fit into my carry-on from Knitting in the Mitten mailed to me by Artie Knits on Ravel. That's her Rav name. And it was a huge box, and I just opened it just now, and she included some presents in there for me. Bumps of fiber. Thank you so much, Artie. So I posted on there asking and everything in that box I didn't buy. It was all door prizes. There were so many door prizes of this. Everybody got several or a couple door prizes and swaps, and my swap partners were so generous. I felt kind of bad because I did the swap and then gave one little small thing, but my swap partners spoiled me. So I'm going to have to, next time I do a swap, kick it up a notch. So that whole huge box is full of stuff that I didn't buy that was gifted to me. So I wanted to show it all, and I asked on the boards, should I show it all in one fell swoop, and then it would just be a longer episode? Because also this week there's that box. I got in all my Etsy clubs. They came at like the same time, and a whole bunch of pre-orders. Doesn't that just happen where they come at the same time? I don't know why. And I asked if I should show it all at once and have like a huge blowout of wonderfulness. But people said do little bits at a time, so I'm going to do that. And I don't want it to go on for weeks and weeks because there's a lot in that box. If I just did one or two things, it would take a while because Artie gifted me some stuff and my swap partners and everything and door prizes. So I think I'm going to follow in the vein of the person who taught me to spin, Malia, taught me at SSK, and she always talks about 5 cool things. So I'm going to show off 5 things. They're all cool, but I don't want to take her idea, but 5 awesome things. So I get another sip. Oh, cool thing. Kagi made these cups for everyone, and they were all different. There were so many. There was an orange sheep that I really, really liked, but I got this one. There were yaks, there were bison. There were so many different fibery goodness friends, and so that was cool to see. And in here I'm drinking Cali Farms, their cold brew. It's done with almond milk, so it's really good and really different. So first enabling thing that I'm going to show you is, okay, my 3D Turkish spindle, yes, came. I had in my Etsy cart, they did a one for Halloween, and I had it in my Etsy cart for a while, and I just didn't get it, and I regretted it, so I knew I needed to get this. And these are so cheap. If you've ever wanted to try a Turkish, I recommend this, even though I haven't used it yet, but I know people have had and like it. Everything that I have purchased is less than what it would be to buy just a normal Turkish, because they're kind of pricey because they're beautifully wood done, but this is 3D printed, and my husband loved seeing it when it came. So it's by Turtle Made, just an Etsy one. You can get a full-size one where you can pick all the colors. She has tons of colors to choose from. You can pick all the colors, and it's $15 for a big full-size one. So it has the center. My husband was so geeking out over this. He was like, oh, it's so cool, because he has wanted a 3D printer for a while. And then I chose green, or I think it came with green. I chose the silver. And then if you can see, little stockings and Santa, little Santa. And so it's like that. It's all 3D printed, all super great price. I'll definitely be getting more of these. Like a non-Christmassy one. Ta-da! Again, Turtle Made on Etsy. And since I have that as Christmassy, I'm going to show this next thing. It was a door prize that I got in the mitten, and it's from, I think, Woolly Girl. It's called Snowy Christmas Eve, and it's 1 3/4 ounce bat. And you can see the colors. It's white and red and green. Sparkly kind of, I think. And so I'm going to be spinning this on this because I really need another spindle project, right? No. But I just think that would be fun. I'm going to start this December 1st. And it looks pretty big, so it kind of makes me nervous about spinning it on a spindle, but it's less than 2 ounces, so. And it's a bat, so that will be fun to, oh, I just put this down on the table. I know you can't see, but it stands up perfectly by itself. It's not going to work on my hand. But that's cool. It stands up perfectly. It's right there. You can't see it, but it's standing up. And so then next this week came, I have been doing on self-striping sock yarn 1 in, 1 out. And so last week I showed you guys the finished pair that I did for my friend, and I had this for my 1 in after the 1 out waiting in my Etsy cart for weeks. This is a local Texas dyer to me, and I had it waiting in my cart for weeks. The cat's still being crazy. Hoping and praying that it did not get snagged, and it didn't, and I'm so glad because I really love the colors. And so I'm really excited to have this. It's tumbleweed yarn, and this is the, what color is the Sidewalk Chalk Sand. I just love the colors. It's really pretty, and it feels really soft. But she, yes, is a Texas dyer, and this was my last Etsy purchase for a while. I looked at it. I purchased this like 2 weeks ago when it got here, because I think she special dyes them. But yeah, I haven't done any Etsy purchasing for 2 weeks. It's kind of crazy, but I am doing Christmas shopping for others, so I'm kind of, you know, other than my clubs, which will be coming, because you know how those come. They just, you pay in advance and they just come. And so that is everything except for the one last thing. I am featuring from the Knittin' in the Mitten every different indie dyer that I went to and bought something from. And so this week's is Wonder Why Gal, and I got a bat from her. Green and blue and white and kind of an orange. I don't know, I just really liked it. And she has really amazing prices. This is, the fiber content is Surrey alpaca, silk, wool, and silk noils. It's 3.5 ounces, and the colorway is Roger Mac. And she is Andrea Morrison. Let me see if it has any. There we go. Here's her card. Wonder Why Alpaca Farm. So there's all the information there. It's just wonderwhyalpacafarm.com. She does not have an Etsy. I think it's just she has her own website, which is cool. So if you want to check out her bats, they're really great price. And you go there. And then she also makes soaps. And the reason I know this is because one of my swaps, I had 3 swaps at Knittin' in the Mitten, was a $25 swap. And the person that was supposed to give me my $25 swap didn't come to the retreat. I guess they had a last minute cancellation, so I was absent swappee. And she and a couple of the other dyers, I'll show you next week, the other one, went in and gave me some different stuff to kind of make up for the person who didn't show up, which was so sweet, and I'm sure more awesome than anything I could have ever gotten in a swap. So she gave me 3 of her soaps. Oatmeal honey, and it smells so wonderful. Another one was bubble gum, which I gave to my son, and then monkey farts, which I kept because it smells really good, even though the name's kind of silly. So there's that. And next week's enabling, just to warn you, is going to be awesome. It's fiber addiction, and there's a story behind it, but there's a good bit of stuff. I started out with one skein, and then it just went from there. So that is everything with the enabling. Like I said, some of that, well, half of that was gifted to me, and then the rest was stuff that I got either at the market or on Etsy. So let's do the drawing. Ironical Knitter Jennifer donated the coasters that are knitting themed coasters of sheep, yarn, needles, and something else that I can't remember right now, but that Susan B. Anderson's son did for like a school project fundraiser thing. So Jennifer will be mailing those out to you. I will tell her you won, and then she'll mail those out to her. So thank you so much, Jennifer, for doing that. So I did a random number generator for that because a lot of people were saying that they didn't, well, not a lot, but some people said all the clicking and stuff at one time. So I did a random number generator, and the number that was chosen, it was 2 through 25. Oh, 2 through 29, sorry, you can't see it. But the number that was chosen, there you can see it, 2 through 29. The number that was chosen was number 25, and that's Tanya Marie. And she said her favorite tea, or her favorite drink was tea, and she said chai tea. And I really loved going through and getting to read what everybody's favorites were, because it kind of feel like I get to know everybody a little bit better. And there are some really interesting drinks. I know a lot of people talked about tea, and it's funny the different ways that people drink tea. I actually, when we were at the grocery store today, bought myself little sugar cubes because I want to be fancy and put a sugar cube in my tea instead of like spooning it. I don't normally do that, but it just seemed like a fun thing this time. So Tanya Marie, contact me when you see this. I don't want to spoil it for you, and I will get you in touch with Ironical Knitter, and then she can mail those coasters out to you. So yay, you won. Okay, the book for this week was inspired by a conversation I was having on the Rav group with Night Owl Knitter, who is Terry, and she was saying that she really liked the book 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. Haruki Murakami, yeah, I'm saying that right. I always question whether I'm saying his name right. But we were discussing his books, and she had read the 1Q84, and I have been working on that one. It's very, very long, but I've read almost all his other works, and so I just was so excited that she knew who that author was, because he's very famous in Japan, but he's not well known in other places, and he should be, especially if you like whimsical, dreamlike qualities to your book and just kind of out of left field things, totally out of left field. I finished up recently one of his as an audiobook. I listened to it, and this one was called Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World, and yes, it is as weird as that sounds. So the premise behind this book is that there are two worlds. One of the worlds has a guy in it, and he works as, his job is kind of mysterious. He does something, and if you feel like it's related with computers and science stuff, but it's just very mysterious. And in that world, he does a special project for someone, and stuff starts to go awry, and people start to come and try to take him down, and there's all this different kind of stuff going on with that. And in the other world in the book, there are unicorns. And it sounds kind of cheesy, but it's not. And they don't call them unicorns. They call them the golden fleeced beasts or something like that. And they're almost a variation on unicorns is how they're described. My cats can open cabinets. They have special skills. And so they have different, so when the unicorns die in this part of the world, their skulls are kept. And there's a dream reader, and the dream reader reads the skulls. And nobody can ever leave this town. In order to become the dream reader, your eyes have to be burned out in this weird way, and you can never again see the sunlight. And there are just all these very interesting things. And the most interesting part to me, because as you're reading it, it keeps going back and forth between these two worlds, and you keep thinking in your mind, how are these worlds going to connect? And I won't tell you, because it's really, I don't think I thought of it in the exact way that he does it. I might have, thought, oh, they're connected somehow. But in the exact way that he does it, I didn't even think of it this way. So it's really good, and I listened to the audiobook of it, so that was enjoyable if you're looking for a new audiobook on your Audible account, if you do that, or they might have it in the library, because as I said, he's really famous in Japan, so in his works you can kind of get them a lot of places. And my friend who introduced me to Haruki Murakami, well, I got introduced to it during a book club for the book The Wind-Up Bird Chronicles, and that was the one that Terry was saying she was wanting to read next, and that's really good. I'll probably review that on the book club sometime. But my friend who, Haruki Murakami is one of his favorite authors. This is his favorite, Haruki Murakami. And it's not that long. It's not as long as some of his other works. His works actually vary a lot in length. And this one I would say is probably, since I did Audible and listened to it, I don't know exactly. It was over 13 hours, I believe. So I would say that it was about between 350 and 420 pages. So I would highly recommend you checking out this author. He is brilliant. And he's very well known in Japan, of course, and then in literary circles. And, his names are just so funny. And I will say this, there is sexual stuff in the books. If you don't like, not crazy, but it's that out of the left field thing again. In the beginning, it's not giving anything away because it's in the first tiny bit. The main character kind of has a thing for chubby girls, and he kind of describes it. And so it's funny to read, but you should check that out. And I think that's all I have for this week. I really hope that I remember to say everything and say it correctly and give credit. I give credit for all the bags and all the patterns and everything. If I didn't get anything correct, just go on the Ravelry thread and say, hey, what is this? You didn't tell us. And I will always tell you guys. So I hope you guys have an awesome weekend and upcoming week. And be ready for next weekend when I will be showing my new fiber addiction stash, which is going to be amazing. Her colors. Oh. And until then, I hope you guys have an awesome week and you get to do all the things you love. Okay, bye guys.